Hello, my fellow libtards.
Yes, I am talking about white supremacy, okay?
Hello, my fellow reactionaries.
Every single dog, they catch even a whiff of Yasuke. Every fucking, literally the game be unplayable because all you hear.
Hello, my fellow kami mummies.
Despite rumors, I am a woman.
Hello, my... God, this bit got old in the first sentence. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing? My name is Cyber, and I am sick, and I also love politics. Discussions and political topics in media, when they aren't borderline stupid and on your face. Which means I hate politics. And for us to talk about it, we need to first address that identitarianism, God, this word is so hard for me to pronounce, is political. Otherwise, this video's purpose is nullified. But it shouldn't be, however, unfortunately, it is nowadays. And if you're lost in it, it refers to a political approach where people's identities, like their ethnicity, gender, or religion, are central to their political beliefs and actions. And it came so strong recently that people started comparing the marvelous speech at the ending of MGS2 to the recent scene where Tasha comes out to her mother. Is this recent, or is it a game released 8 months ago, already old? Damn, I just hate how fast things are moving. And this comparison sucks. But why? Because in one hand, you had a meaningful tale exploring free will, one's true choice in defining their future and who they wish to become. How manipulation is so efficiently strong that it destroys you. It swiftly shows you not to trust the higher-ups, and mostly so, the dangers of blind faith. On the other hand...
So, I'm non-binary.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down!
And again, thing number 2 to address is that most political stances nowadays is to criticize conservatism and good old capitalism, which can absolutely be made fun of and even criticized. However, most writers are so dumb that they turn it into the most shallow commentary possible. Hell, my favorite game is Bioshock. Even have it tattooed in my arm, and it is such a huge criticism on capitalism and liberalism. Not only and entirely, but a good amount, since putting this title in either black or white feels wrong and a really bad description of a great story. Rapture was born out of an extremely libertarian ideal. One of the most famous quotes of the game simplify it to its core: no gods or kings, only man. This freedom let child experimentation, economic cannibalism, and somewhat of an anarchic civilization flourish and rot in a very small window of time, explicitly saying to you that either populism and revolutions don't work. But, at the same time, even if Andrew Ryan's speech is one of a libertarian, his execution is one based on oppression towards the poor, stepping on them in favor of his control, something that branches itself in both spectrums, as well as the hidden lurking dangers of exaggerated consumerism, being sold in the form of luxury goods called plasmids, at the cost of your sanity. A subtle commentary on the weaponization of capitalism and its happy advertisement, contrasted by its horrific outcome of men doomed by it. Rapture's competition over compassion is summarized by strong rise, the weak fall. Businesses destroying each other and leaving aside ethics, and so on and so forth. Which means, layered upon plasmids, arguably the prettiest game of 2007 and one of the best concepts ever executed on a game, lays a discussion in both society's system and the man's self-righteousness fueling it. It's short, effective, and smartly blasted throughout the many levels of the underwater city, holding a very smart lesson. Don't be an extremist in your views because shit will hit the fan and collapse society as a whole. Just look at Infinite where things suck as well, even though they are taking the complete opposite approach. I might make a long video on these babies one day. Now, on the complete polar opposite, there is whatever the fuck people are trying to convey with bad characters in their views within stories that will never ever relate to us. And honestly, I'll make an argument that it's not hard for a common Joe that works a 9 to 5, likes some games and a couple of comic books, to put on Brokeback Mountain and make the guy cry over how sad the story gets, even if the guy isn't gay. And that's because the characters in it are great, and this is the difference. Brokeback Mountain succeeds because it's about human emotion first, identity second. Modern identitarian writing flips that and loses us in the process. And on this subject, terminology does not help. The more you complicate and focus on a single thing, the worse it looks for you, and the same goes for the polar opposite. The more you oversimplify a topic, the stupider you look. To add valid criticism in any story, not only you need to know what you're talking about, but also you need to be clever about it. Because that is called good writing. And there is a reason why only a selected amount of people are capable of it. Because it's hard. And the more you shove something as shallow as my sexuality or but capitalism down someone's throats, the more people will hate it. Just to set an example, one of the worst depictions of what I just said was the horrible Saints Row, the remake. This scene is just sad. A simple introduction to our main characters are as trivial as you could expect. Kevin and Eli discuss the oppressive nature of capitalism. Eli even remarks, "Wow, he's either a monster or a capitalist genius," referring to a gang leader's exploitative practices. And it dies there. Eli is shown as a business guy, yet his insights into capitalism are superficial. Kevin is a frat boy DJ whose motivations are flat. And this portrayal undermines any serious critiques of capitalism, reducing it to a backdrop for quirky character moments, not mentioning the negative drip that the characters have. Now, I don't think it's impossible to depict both topics of discussions in media in a way that doesn't suck. But to do that, you need to understand that people just don't care about you, or what you like, or even what you identify as. And I know as a fact that there is a game that got away with it, and it is called When we look at a game such as Celeste, we would never guess it had such politics in it. And that's because it doesn't have. I'll be honest and say that I have not played it because it's just not for me. But the fact that the main character is trans and not talked about at all says that this small game with a huge fanbase was indeed an incredible indie game. And I can safely say that Celeste carries a good word that lacks in recent media: nuance. Actual nuance in storytelling. It talks about the difficulty in facing your fears and your self-doubts, to love yourself and how to overcome depression. And those are characteristics anyone can relate to, but under all that lies the character's true nature, without screaming it in your face. Sermonizing and overexposure is the death of a viewer's engagement in a story. When you lecture someone on how they should feel or be, you aren't being clever manipulator of a writer, like many inspire to be. You're an imbecile trying so hard to make people side with you. You focus so much on diverse characters that you forgot to diversify your products. It's always the same characters that exhort the same quirky different tokenisms. Gears of War as a saga has my favorite black characters ever, period. Coltrane and Dom are everything but their skin color. Coltrane is a funny man full of energy as he screams, "It's wow! Wow! Wow!" He's a great comic relief that lives in the past of his glory days as an NFL player. No other scene signifies this more than the one in 3, where he carries the bomb to victory to his spectacular touchdown. He walks a fine line between being a complete insane man and the bravest of the gears. And he's all that before being black, as well as many other beloved colored characters in gaming. And I could add on the topic, but it's a discussion for another day. What matters is that folk are waking up and not settling for mediocrity no more. The more time passes by, the more we see the obvious checklist that corpos create to appeal to the echo chamber called X, or Twitter if you're still in denial, which are quickly crashing out and burning. And that's what you get when you focus your entire view in the internet's elusive audience. Because in this echo chamber we have the good old case of the silent majority versus the loud minority. And gamers aren't as deafening online as one may think. And to simplify that point, in case my bad English sounds like gibberish, imagine you were to ask anyone who loves gaming, really loves gaming, I would bet that if their favorite game is Witcher, Geralt being white would be the last of the reasons for them to love our beautiful butcher. If they would say San Andreas would be how funny and how much attitude CJ packed, not because he's black. And if it was Lara Croft, it wouldn't be because she's a woman, but because she had massive tits. What? Just me? Okay. However, in the internet, the few thousands make it feel like it's not such case. That people actually like these forced implementations over storytelling and gameplay. That as long as you have a highly diversified character on screen, you are happy. But that's a lie. And not to trail off and make a point out of this mess, here's how to fix this issue. It's to simply accept discussion and not glaze your beliefs. I'm fairly certain that every writer, when creating said story, in some ways align with what their heroes are saying and believing. But to make it effective, it's simply to not make it the truth, nor the other side the enemy. Just let your targeted audience think and draw their own conclusions. Let go of ego and accept healthy deviant thoughts. Embrace true diversity, y'all.
I'm fucking the dog. I'm fucking the dog, Ted.